So tell us why we're here and how the story got started.
So we're here today to ask, we're looking for a living donor. I am having to have a liver transplant at Baylor Scott and White in Dallas. And basically it started about 18 years ago. When my daughter was born, she was a blessing and everything was going great until about 3 weeks after she was born. I had a really bad infection going on, so we had to go to the doctor, and they basically said that I need my gallbladder removed. So they took me right into surgery, a lot of slush and everything, had my gallbladder removed, and your body makes about 900 to 1200 cc's of bile each day. And after surgery, which by the way, it was October 13th is when I had my surgery, and it was a Friday the 13th, so that was a little fortuitous. They each day, my recovery seemed to be going well, but my bile output was still, in that 900 to 1200 cc each day. And so since that's all your body makes, it wasn't processing. Something was going on. And so they started doing tests and determined that, we're not sure why all of the bile you're producing is going out into this JP drain that was coming out of my body. So they sent me down to UTMB, Galveston, and we had a surgeon down there who was taking great care of me and everything, and that's when we discovered that my bile duct had been completely cut in two due to the surgery. So we had to have several liver catheters placed, and from October to December, 2 months, we were basically back and forth from Galveston to Lufkin while having my newborn with me. And so that was kind of rough. So I had my reconstructive surgery in December of that year, and it was a rocky healing process from that. And basically from then till now, we've had several battles with recurrent infections in the liver, and having these abscesses that develop, and having liver catheters placed and removed, surgeries and whatnot. It's just resulted in abscesses that have formed inside the liver that they just can't drain anymore. They can't remove them. They can't. Basically, our last line of defense was hitting it with IV antibiotics at home, and now we're just to the point where there's cirrhosis has set in. Now I'm having to deal with what's called hepatic encephalopathy. It's basically it acts kind of like dementia, so stumble on words, a lot of confusion, things like that, and there is no cure. The only thing that's gonna help now is a living donor.
For a liver transplant.
Yes, for a liver transplant.
And it has to match your blood type,
Right.
which is...
I'm O positive, and so we're just looking for a match. We're looking for somebody who's O positive and who is, willing to. So what they do is they take half of that donor's liver. And they implant it in me. And basically, both halves will grow into a full liver. Because then the liver is the only organ that does that. So, and the reality of the situation is that if we don't find a donor, a liver transplant donor, prognosis is probably 1 to 2 years max. So we're just trying to find someone that can look inside, can help.
Find it basically in their heart to help you out.
Yeah.
And this has been going on for 18 years.
18 years.
And tell us about all of your kids that count on you.
I have my 18-year-old, of course, Ava. She's a senior at Sequoia High School in Tahlequah, Oklahoma. She's an award-winning artist. She's amazing. She has, she's had kind of a rough upbringing. It's been hard for her having a mom that's been so sick. And I've had really great, some days are much easier than others. She's just kind of had to grow up kind of fast and be there when I just couldn't, and my mom too. But Ava is amazing. She's gone to nationals twice with archery, with the high school, with Sequoia High School, and she's been, she's an amazing woman. And then I have my 12-year-old Jason. Jason is basketball. He's all about basketball, all about sports, all about football. I swear he watches ESPN in his spare time, because he just comes to me and tells me all these things, all these stats and everything. And I'm just like, oh, that's great, son, that's great. I don't know as much as you do about these things. So, but he's been, they all powwow, they all, played stickball on and off, and they just, I think that was one of the reasons why it was important to me to go back to Oklahoma, because that it really called me. And there we found extended family. We found family that we didn't know we had, and they have all. I feel like this is as much a reconnection story and a story of, I think the only reason that I was able to, I hate to say survive, but to go 18 years from when the initial injury happened, was because of the community that we found up there, and then my family, and I don't think we could have done it without them, without everybody coming together and helping. So in a small way, you know, when we initially found out what was going to be, we knew back in 2006 that we were going to have eventually have a liver transplant. And we asked Dr. Nealon back then, you know, how long do we have? How long is it, you know, before we have to do a transplant? And he said, it all depends on you. It all depends on how well you take care of your body, and it depends on how much, you know, you really, you know, stop the drinking, stop this. And of course, I hadn't drank anyway because I was pregnant. So I feel like that's just a testimony to extended family and to how important it is to take care of your body.
And you also have Timmy, who's how old?
Timothy is 8 now, going on 60. I swear, he reminds me of my grandfather every day. He wants to, you know, he has all these really important questions about life and about why things are the way they are, and about how, you know, how just life is. He's so curious about everything, and he's our little gardener. So when we were at powwows, all Timothy would want to do is play, you know, do the flowers and play with the grass and everything. And so he's our little gardener, and he just loves being outside. And so they're all three special in their own way, and they all three are just blessings. So
what is the plan if you don't get a transplant? What is the plan for your kids?
we have set in motion, I have my will, and I have Ava will probably have to, since she's 18, she'll get all my stuff. Nay. Timothy wants to live with his grandmother if he passes. We've unfortunately had to have this conversation. Jason wants to live with his aunt. But I don't want to split up. So probably grandma's it.
So tell us what the risks are. We know what the risks are for you if you don't get a living donor. We know what the risks are for the kids. What is the risk to the stranger that sees this video and decides to help?
Basically, if somebody is interested in being a living donor, they can go to, I have my Baylor Scott and White website that's set up that they can go and fill out the application to be a living donor. But basically, they're looking at, you know, their surgery is going to be much less involved than mine. It's going to be a laparoscopic surgery to remove part of the liver, and then basically they are sewn up. They'll have approximately 10 to 14 days in the hospital recovery, then they can go home. And based on what their job is and how well they heal, it's usually about 1 to 2 months recovery time, and then they're back to. It's my understanding, at least, that will be the approximate time. I think it's a 2-month recovery time.
But there isn't a significant risk of...
There's always a risk in surgery whenever you go for surgery. There's, since they're removing part of the liver, and that's you do have the portal vein there, so there's a risk of bleeding. There's a risk of
long-term damage, though, with their liver grows back.
Yes. So as far as I understand, he'll be fully back in that 2 months span time.
So within 2 months, their liver will be fully grown back to before they did the transplant.
That's what we've been told at Baylor. So
okay, and this is at Baylor Scott and White Hospital in
Dallas.
In Dallas.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Wood Street 8.
Okay. So, is there anything else that you feel like people should know about your story, or feel like you want to tell people?
I just really want a chance to see my daughter get married. I really want to watch all of them graduate from high school. I really want to see them achieve things in their lifetime. And I mean, for me, I know that, it's all in the Creator's hands. So that's where I have to leave it. And just continue to have that hope for my children and for myself. And what happens is meant to happen. So, but I do hope. I still have hope. And I'll never let go of that. And I think it's important to not only just talk about these things, but also to still laugh and still be able to have fun and to just be there for my children. And so that means dropping a death joke every once in a while. I think I might. So, I mean, we're still Native, and we still gotta laugh about things, even when we're staring down death. So it's all good. It's all gonna work out. And I just want to thank people for watching and for considering and coming and visiting and hearing a little bit about my story. I don't remember a whole lot of it, but my mom could probably tell you much more than I could. But yeah, thank y'all.
Okay.